Hello, everybody, and welcome back to your favorite podcast, Penne for Your Thoughts. I'm Marcelo Hernandez.
I'm Sabrina Carpenter from that one concert where she arrests him. I think it's LA Night something, like 2 or something.
Love that. Okay. I'm eating pizza rolls and ranch. Because this is our second podcast, and I'm hungry.
I had snacks during the last one.
Real. We are going to do a quiz as soon as Em finds one. But today we are going to be talking about our favorite YouTubers, our favorite podcasts I also included in the mix as well. And then Emma's going to tell me some Smosh stuff because she loves Smosh and I don't know that much about it.
I've been a Smosh fan. I did the math and I will include this in my little thing, but I've been a Smosh fan for the last 13 years of my life. I have consistently watched them. Never taken a break. I have watched them consistently for the last 13 out of their, I think they just celebrated 19 years. So it's the last 13.
Which is crazy.
Out of their 19 years of being a channel. Mm-hmm. The only reason I'm not the full 19 years is because I'm only 22. So that doesn't really work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We have a lot of segments.
We do.
Sandwiching our podcast. Oh, I was like, who's texting me?
Me.
C'est toi.
I'm texting.
Okay. I joined.
Cool. This one was just the first one I found that would give us a result of who we would be. So it says, this romantic movie quiz will reveal with 99% certainty whether you've met your soulmate. I don't know, I thought it was funny. First, pick a recent release. The Idea of You, Anyone But You, It Ends With Us, Challengers.
Ooh. Okay, It Ends With Us was so boring. I've not finished it.
So controversial. It is such a bad plot. It is not promotive of good things. It is not promotive of, hey, get out of that situation.
Yeah.
At all.
It's just, But I'm going to choose It Ends With Us.
I'm kind of stuck between The Idea of You and Anyone But You. Because The Idea of You, the main guy in that is based off of Harry Styles. And it's based off of a very specific fan fiction that I read as a youth. As a wee youth. And then Anyone But You, Glenn Powell's in it. So I think I'm gonna go Anyone But You.
Oh yeah, that's the one with Sydney Sweeney.
Yeah.
I've not seen that movie yet.
So good. That one's a good one because it's very enemies to lovers. So, but yeah, Anyone But You.
And now pick an iconic 2000s rom-com. How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days. She's the Man. 13 Going on 30 and The Proposal.
13 Going on 30.
I have never seen any of these, but I'm gonna say She's the Man because that's the one I've seen the clips of on Reels.
13 Going on 30 when I was a kid made me obsessed with Razzles.
Oh, the candy?
Yeah. I didn't know what it was, and then in that movie she's it's the way that they connect. It's through Razzles, and I was like, oh, I need Razzles. So there used to be a candy shop by my house, and every time we would go I'd look at my dad and he'd be like, because we'd go, there's a movie theater and a candy shop, so we'd get candy from the candy shop, and he'd be like, hey, everyone pick out one candy, and I'd look at him, I'd be like, but I get 2, right? Because I wanted Razzles and another candy. Because Razzles is gum. It's candy, then it's gum. So I was like, I want another candy. So, but I got Razzles every movie we went to.
Heck yeah.
Save just one of these classics. The Notebook, When Harry Met Sally, Titanic, La La Land.
I'm going The Notebook.
I'm going to go La La Land.
The Notebook is what not the fighting and breaking up and stuff, but when they're in love, that's the kind of love I want. Until the end of the day. But I've never seen When Harry Met Sally or Titanic.
Titanic's good. When Harry Met Sally is good, but it's very I think it's the 90s, so it's very 90s. La La Land is one of my favorite movies of all time. It is so beautiful. It makes me cry every time. And it's the first movie Hunter and I ever watched together.
Aww.
So it holds a very special little place in my heart.
It is so good. Choose a top-rated critic fave. The Big Sick, To All the Boys I've Loved Before, Love, Simon, Garden State. I'm going Love, Simon. I love that movie. I've also never seen any of the other ones.
I've seen Love, Simon, and I've seen To All the Boys I've Loved Before. And I think I'm going to go All the Boys I Loved Before. 1, to be different, but 2, I watched it recently. I watched it the other night. So it's very fresh in my brain. And pick a 90s rom-com. 10 Things I Hate About You, She's All That, Clueless, Pretty Woman. Pretty Woman. Enough said.
I've never seen any of these things. I'm just going to go 10 Things I Hate About You.
Pretty Woman is, that one also makes me cry, but it makes me cry just because of I don't know, there's a lot of self-love that's learned in that movie.
What about a romance movie with a side of action? Sorry, my mouth was full. Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, Miss Congeniality, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, and The Princess Bride. I was going to go Princess Bride because that's the only one I've seen.
I'm going to go Scott Pilgrim versus the World because I often get told that I remind a lot of people of the girl in that because she dyes her hair a lot, or she has a lot of different hair colors, I think. Or it's like bright hair colors, and that's something a lot of people remember me for. And also, she's like a badass. So I'm going to, and I don't know if you've ever seen the meme where it's like you have to get through my 7 evil exes, but that's where that's from.
Oh!
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's that one. That's like the idea of it is like it's like a video game and he's trying to get the girl, but he has to defeat each guy before that.
Choose a movie that'll definitely make you cry. Me Before You, A Star Is Born, The Fault in Our Stars, Brokeback Mountain. I have wanted to see Brokeback Mountain and Star Is Born.
So good. Star Is Born is iffy, but
yeah,
Brokeback Mountain's good.
Screenshot just so I remember. I don't know. I'm between Me Before You and Fault in Our Stars.
I think I have to go Me Before You because again, I often like people are like, "There's a side of you that reminds me of." I don't remember her name, but the girl in that one, and it's like I also am obsessed with the color yellow and bumblebees, and I get it, girl. Like if I got bumblebee tights, I would freak out. Hunter, take notes. If I got bumblebee tights, I would freak out.
Love that. No, Fault in Our Stars. I used to be obsessed with that book when I was in like middle school.
Told me I looked like I was from it last night.
Because your hair was all tucked up.
This is a hard one. Pick a family-friendly romance movie. 17 again. Aquamarine, The Parent Trap, A Cinderella Story.
Cinderella Story.
Parent Trap.
Lastly, add another fan favorite to the mix. Call Me By Your Name, 50 First Days, Dates, Notting Hill, Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. Oh.
I know. Yep. I called it. Sierra picked Call Me By Your Name, which I knew. I remember when you first watched that, or not first watched it, but when you watched it like recently or something. Was it your first time watching it? When you were really, really into it? Yeah.
It was my first time watching it 3 years ago.
I remember you texting me being like, I watched this movie and it was so good. And I was like, I'm glad. Like, that's awesome.
I know, because you had been recommending it to me. And it was like, it wasn't until the spring semester after we met that I was like, oh, Netflix recommended this to me. I'm going to watch it. And I remember I was watching it, like, doing my makeup or something. And then I had to go, so I had to pause it halfway through. And then I texted you, and I was like, this movie is everything I want. Like, I love the feeling it evokes, and it just feels so real. And I have a tattoo of it as well, because it is, I don't know, the more I've watched it, the more I find myself being represented in different aspects. And so I was like,
that's how I feel about Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. If you want another good movie, great movie. That movie also makes me sob. It's just such a sweet story, and it's Jim Carrey in a role that I don't think I've ever seen him in before, because he's the lead. Yeah. It also has a very star-studded cast. Elijah Wood's in it. Oh. Mark Ruffalo's in it. It's a whole thing, but the main plot is he meets this girl, and it's told kind of out of order, but he meets this girl. They fall in love, obviously, like most love, they kind of fall out of love with each other, and he wants to get rid of her from his mind. So he goes through like this experimental process, and that's like the whole point of like she's the eternal sunshine of his spotless mind.
Oh my gosh.
It's very sad. If you want like
I'll have to watch it.
I feel like you'll vibe with it because of all the different things you've gone through with like love and stuff. I feel like it'll hit home both her and him. Like you'll be able to relate on both sides.
Okay. Definitely. I took a screenshot of it because I have so much like I made my mentees give me media or something to consume, like video games, music, albums, podcasts, TV shows, movies to just watch while I'm recovering because I'm literally doing nothing. Yeah. And so that is definitely going to go on the list.
If you want more.
Please.
My letterbox.
Please. I deleted my letterbox. I should get it back.
You should. You should be friends with me on Letterboxd. I got you'll meet them in a few months. I hope that just means meet my boyfriend again when we're living together. You're super close to meeting your soulmate. They're right around the corner waiting for you. When it happens, it may feel like this person came out of nowhere, so you better keep your eyes peeled. And don't be surprised when love comes into your life very soon. Secret, what'd you get?
Mine says you'll meet them in 5 to 10 years. You've got quite a while before you meet your soulmate, so you may as well sit back, relax, and let the universe do its work. Why rush into things? It'll happen exactly when it's supposed to, which is frustrating because the guy I like called me pretty. And I'm still not over it. And Last week, as of recording this, we had an event together and he called me pretty because I was like dressed up, I was wearing heels, and literally everyone I've told, I'm like, oh my God, so and so called me pretty. They're like, finally, he noticed.
I think that was the collective reaction last night.
Yep. It was your reaction. It was my roommate's reaction. It was Allie's reaction. And I was just like, yeah, I guess. And I'm just like, it feels like a missed connection. But like, there's still time.
Maybe in 5 to 10 years, it'll happen again.
Lord knows where I'm going to be in 5 to 10 years. But anyways, so I'm going to stay single for now. 5 to 10 years is fine. I can wait, maybe. Anyways, harsh left. Now we're going to talk about some YouTubers that we want to recommend and rave and podcast. So I have a list of like 10, it looks like. No, 9.
Altogether?
Yeah, YouTubers and podcasts.
I have 11
Okay.
combined. And then I have one shout out that I don't listen to anymore.
Okay.
But I did want to talk about it a little bit.
Okay. But I could probably add a shout out to, so I'll have 10.
It's just my I don't really listen to them anymore, but like I
Yeah.
used to, and so I'm gonna end the podcast, and it's a podcast and it ended, so I'm like, I'll shout them out because I still listen to it sometimes. My first YouTuber that I will talk about, the Super Carlin Brothers. They are 2 brothers, exactly how they sound. Their last name is Carlin, but you couldn't guess that. And they literally, their whole channel is dedicated to Pixar theories. They will do some movie reviews, and then they also do a lot of Harry Potter stuff. And they do a lot of what if Harry Potter stuff. I'm a huge Harry Potter fan, and I have been since I was a kid. They're doing a series right now where it's like, what if this character was in this house? How would that have changed the story? They did a whole 8-part thing of like, what if Harry was in Slytherin? And they literally rewrote each book to be like, what would change versus what wouldn't change of him being in a different house. But they do a lot of theories. They do a lot of quizzes. They'll have they have a Patreon, and I am a Quizmaster tier, which means I get to help make questions for said quizzes. I pay $5 a month for that.
Oh.
Yeah, I pay $5 a month so that I can do that, and it's super duper fun. They're just real. Like, they don't hide parts of their life, which, like, good on them, but also I get why some people do it. But they're very, like, they talk about their kids. They spend a lot of time with their kids. They both they did this as, like, a side hustle, and then it turned real, and I've been watching them for a while. I think they just hit 12 years on YouTube, and I've been watching them for the last, like, 5 or 6 years.
Yeah.
So, super cool. Like them. That's my rave. I would recommend if you like Harry Potter, or, like, they do a lot of Harry Potter, Pixar, and, like, they just did a Wicked review, so once I see Wicked, I'm gonna watch that. But they do, like, really cool stuff.
Huh.
That's my nerdy one.
Neat. Honestly, sounds like something I would like. What's it called again?
The Super Carlin Brothers. It's Jay and Ben. And then they have another brother named Tyler who sometimes shows up.
Okay.
But they literally, it started in their attic. It started in Jay's attic. And now they're in, like, a little space and stuff. But it's like he used to work for some stadium. And then Ben used to own an aquarium company. And they put that all aside to do this.
Wow.
So it's really cool.
Interesting. Well, my first one is Good Mythical Morning and the whole mythical team. I have been watching the mythical channels for so many years, ever since their Rub Some Bacon on It video came out, because that really blew them up on the internet. And then I kind of was in and out of watching them, but now I watch them pretty regularly with any, like, mythical kitchen content they have. Good Mythical More I'm a big fan of, especially the episodes with Jordan Myrig. Their regular main channel episodes, but then also their Rhett and Link channel, like Wonderhole. I loved watching Wonderhole because I thought it was like regular videos, and then they totally, like, took over with creative expression, and it was just so cool to see them do that. But I don't know, I just also love how they feel real. Like, they're 2 dads who had their lives completely changed, and that's kind of like the mentality I'm going with in life, is like, I'm getting a degree, I have all these doors open for me, and I'm just gonna walk through a door, and it's all gonna work out, because they moved from the Carolinas, I think it was North Carolina they were in. They moved from the Carolinas to LA, packed up everything, their families, to start anew. And this is when they were just starting to get popular. They got super popular and then came back down a little bit, and they were kind of plateauing. So they didn't know if they were going to be successful or not. But they knew it was going to work out and be totally fine. And I think approaching life with that mentality has had like a huge shift, not only in like how I view everything, but also my mental health. Like, I'm just like, it's worked out so far. Why wouldn't it keep working out?
For sure.
Yes, love Mythical and everything they produce.
Would you recommend?
Yes.
There you go.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'd highly recommend watching Mythical just because it's fun. They post a lot of different content. Most of it is like food related and stuff, which is pretty fun. But I don't know. They post every morning, Monday through Friday. And I would highly recommend them if you just want like something to watch while you're eating breakfast. And it's like kind of like sitting at a dinner table with your two dads. You know?
Yeah.
I don't know. That's the kind of comfort they bring me. But
That's awesome. My next one is GT Live and all the theory channels. So game theory, film theory, food theory, style theory. Mainly GT Live is what I watch a lot of. That is, what is it? Game theory is obviously Matt Pat, for those who don't know.
Love Matt Pat.
Patrick, who just retired recently, which is so sad, and I did cry.
Yeah.
I was told on my drive up here, and I sobbed for like 20 minutes, because I was like, oh, there's my childhood. Because I remember, I can tell you the exact video I watched that got me into it. And this one I have to thank for my dad, because I was really big on the Super Carlin brothers at the time, and so I loved theorizing, and I would pick up on little things, and my dad noticed, and he was like, hey, you should watch this video. And it was who was Rosalina's dad is the video they did. So they did Punnett squares, and it was a whole like very scientific thing. And I remember
I love Punnett squares.
Me too. And I love him because of Matt Pat, and he used like Peach with like Mario, and then Peach with Luigi, and it was like, oh, Luigi actually makes sense to be her dad and not Mario. It was a whole thing, and it was super like awesome to watch, and I just got hooked on it. And I watched game theory forever, and then when they brought in film theory, obviously watch film theory. I'm a film major. I have to watch it. Legally, you have to watch it. I know.
You're a film major?
Crazy. I just love media, so that was my thing. And then I started watching GT Live, which is not live. It's all pre-recorded for the most part. But it's like hour-long content where they'll deep dive into like different video games or different ARGs and stuff. For those who don't know what an ARG is, it's like real life, quote-unquote real life stuff that happens. So it's like emails and web pages that people make. It's super duper cool stuff, but that kind of got me all into where I'm at now. And so thanks, Matt Pat, for that. If you want to come on the pod, that would be awesome. And I would probably cry in front of you. I'm sorry, that's embarrassing.
Manifesting Matt Pat on the podcast.
That'd be awesome.
That'd be our big break.
Yeah. But I like watched for a while. I've watched for a really long time, and it got me into one of my favorite video games in a really long time. I love the Amanda the Adventurer games. Got me really, really into those. So appreciate it, Matt. And then they just switched over to a different host of GT Live, and she's doing great. Ash is doing awesome. If Ash could come on the podcast too, that'd be awesome. I think you'd like her. She's pretty cool.
Bet.
So
definitely have to watch, because I used to watch some of Matt Pat's videos, but I wasn't a subscriber. I just kind of like casually watched whenever
it popped up.
on my suggested, and I always really enjoyed it. So maybe I'll have to go back and watch.
It made me realize that like you can question things that people say you shouldn't question, because I grew up with, and whenever I'd be like, well, why is it like that, people are like, it's just how it was made, and I was like, no, why is it like that? And so it like kind of taught me that it's okay to ask that question, and there's probably an answer if you dig deep enough. Strongly recommend if you like to think.
Yes. Okay, my second one, it's kind of like two people, again, with their channels as a whole. Julian Solomita and Jenna Marbles.
I knew you were going to put that on there.
I like still watch some of Jenna's old videos, and Julian used to vlog a lot. He used to do a lot of travel vlogs, and he kind of inspired me to do the day in my life stuff that I do on Instagram. And so, I don't know, I just want to share that with others. But anyways, Jenna Marbles, her early videos were a little chaotic, and I really liked that. Just because they were so funny and you got to laugh. And then towards the end of her career, when she was really doing what she wanted to, she was kind of that pioneer for me to be like, oh, nothing really matters in this world. You just do whatever you want to do. Don't let society tell you how to shape, how to conform, how to do all of that. And I think that was a really powerful message that she
Yeah.
portrayed. Especially like, what's the video? It's like taking a nap for 20 million subscribers. Like I was like, if that's not more of a mood, I don't know what
Yeah.
is. Granted, that was a very sad point in her life when she realized like it was 2020. She was struggling a lot. I think she was having family issues as well. And you could tell she was kind of on her way out to retirement from YouTube. But love her. I wish she still had some sort of internet presence. But I totally understand her for kind of being
yeah.
like a recluse, but I don't want to say that in a mean way.
Yeah.
Like she's just kind of taking time for herself and doing what she loves,
Yeah.
which is rescuing dogs and taking care of her plants. But as for Julian Solomita, he still does all of his like gaming streams and stuff like that. And he's the one who actually got me onto Codenames. And that's
Really?
why I have it, because it was so fun when he was like with Jay Cyrus and a couple other YouTubers playing Codenames. And it's just so fun to watch. Also during 2020, when Among Us was a huge thing, I would turn on his like, because he would go live, but then I would miss them. And so he'd post his lives onto YouTube. I would just turn on his Among Us lives and play Among Us with that noise in the background.
Yeah.
So they've kind of helped me shape my morals and mentalities as I grow. But anyways, that's it.
My next one, I like that. I really said I'm going from nerdy to least nerdy. Critical Role. They.
Oh, I think you've recommended me this. Is it D&D?
It's D&D. They are, to quote Matthew Mercer from Critical Role, they're a bunch of nerdy-ass voice actors who play D&D.
Yeah.
That's essentially what they open it with, or they play Dungeons & Dragons, and then, for those who don't know what D&D is, Dungeons & Dragons, but it's the same 8-9 people. They do campaigns that I think they're on episode, like, this campaign that they're on. So a campaign is, like, the overarching story. It's gone on for, like, 3 years now, I think.
Wow.
And it's, like, they, are on episode 115, 116, I think, something like that. But they stream it it's live every single Thursday night. It's really awesome. They've done 3 different campaigns. One of their campaigns is a very popular TV show called Vox Machina. It's super awesome. It's like a condensed version of what they kind of fleshed out in the beginning. And it started from, they were just a bunch of voice actors, popular voice actors. If you listen to them, you probably know them from something. Like, that's the cool thing is, like, you probably know them. Like, if you've ever played The Last of Us, Ellie, one of the voice actor and an actual actor, I guess, because it's a CGI thing, but is in there. She's in the group. Ashley Johnson, super awesome. But, like, that realm of things is really cool to, like, learn about, because they talk a lot about voice acting and stuff, but also it's just cool to watch people who everyone finds really cool because their voice actors play a really, really nerdy game. And it was something that they didn't just do for clout. They started off doing it at home, and then they met someone on, I think the channel was called, like, Geek Sultry or something. They met someone on that, and they were like, hey, I think this would be cool if you guys stream this, if you're comfortable. And they said, yeah, and then it turned into a whole little empire, because they got other shows than just their stuff. They have one called, I don't remember what it's called. It's called, like, Retrack, something. But it's, like, 100% an audio thing that is kind of like the stuff they do, but there's no video, just audio, and it tells more of a story than them playing D&D. So it's really cool. And their second campaign is going to be a TV show, I think, starting in February. It comes out, and then campaign 3, they got signed on for, like, next year to be a show on Amazon.
Wow, good
It's,
for them.
Cool. I guess we're talking about what we learned about from these people. It's cool because it's like they're all older, and it's like they didn't see fame until their until their 30s. So it's like I thought I had to be famous by now, and I was like, I got time. I don't have to be famous yet. I can be famous later.
That's real.
And it made D&D cool.
Yeah.
Because I've loved D&D since COVID. I fell in love with it because that's when I started watching them, and it like made D&D cool. Because people are like, oh, Critical Role play D&D? That's cool. I'm like, yes, it is cool. So many famous actors play D&D, and they don't talk about it.
Yeah.
So
that's awesome.
Strongly recommend.
My next is, actually, she's not on this list, but I'm gonna add her.
Go for it.
Simply Nailogical. Christine.
Vibes.
I used to watch her a lot in like 2016 and stuff like that because I was really into nail art, like, in middle school and high school, just because, like, I wasn't quite allowed to dye my hair yet, but needed some form of self-expression. And so I would watch her for, like, nail inspiration, but she doesn't really do nail tutorials. She just kind of, like, goofs around with nail products. But I love her. She is so freaking funny. And she is a, what is it, like, crime statistician or something like that. Like, she works for the Ottawa government in Ottawa, Canada, and she does something really cool with crimes and statistics around the world and not just in Canada. And she also has a podcast, which is also not on my list, but there was one episode where she was just talking about her history in crim and what she studied in her undergrad and things like that. And it inspired me because, like, this is derailing, but the point of the podcast. I have a friend who I mentioned her. Shout out Nishika. We used to be obsessed with the Avengers. And then there was this show called Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. We were convinced that we were going to become Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And then I realized what it took to become, like, a Secret Service agent. And I was like, screw that. However, Nishika did get a degree from UC Irvine with a degree in, like, criminology. So she's awesome. But I was like, no thanks. But then I listened to Christine's podcast and her telling me about all this. And I was like, wait a minute. So there's more to criminal studies than just being a lawyer or being a psychiatrist for someone incarcerated. And I was like, okay. And so I actually considered being a social justice and criminology major. I think I applied with that to the crim programs at, like, Long Beach and a couple other California universities. Obviously, that's not my path now. But she kind of opened those doors for me. And also, it's just, like, brain rot. Like, you turn off your brain and just get to laugh for a little bit at some of her videos.
My next one, I'm a big Sims player, as we know. It's my favorite video game of all time. Because it's just, that's the one where you want to turn your brain off, you play The Sims. Or that's my way of getting stories out. Who knows? I'd love to tell him the little stories I create just because it's funny. But the person I got it from her name's Little Simsy. Her real name's Kayla. But I started watching her when she was in college. She just started doing it for fun in college as like I have time after class. I'm going to stream or I'm going to make a video of doing The Sims. And she used to play Sims 3 and then played Sims 4. And she would do it she lived in, like, a townhouse in Florida. She's from Florida. She lived in a townhouse in Florida, and I remember watching her videos from her little stair landing. She had a little tiny desk that she would stream on and do stuff with, and it was super fun to watch. And now I watch her now. She's married to an awesome guy named Dan. I also watch Dan on Twitch, but he's British. He's really cool. But it's like, she does a lot of crazy stories. She has a series called the Nightmare Legacy Challenge, where she's been playing with this generation for, like, 20-something generations, and each one just gets more and more chaotic. If you're a Sims fan and you know the Not So Berry Challenge, she created that. Like, she's a big part of the Sims 4 community, and I've been watching her for a while, and I think I connected with her so much because she started out as, like, we used to watch the same, like, Sims 3 YouTubers. I used to watch it, and she would talk about, like, oh, that's where she got inspiration to do Sims stuff from. So I was like, oh, that's cool that it's, like, someone who was a viewer for such a long time and used to pretend that they had the packs and used to pretend that they had the custom content. And because I used to do that all the time, I would pretend that, like, oh yeah, like, that outfit, no, it actually looks like this, but I don't have that, so it's gonna look like this, but in my head it looks different. And so it's, like, cool to see someone else do that and then make a career out of it. I could never, because she's got a crazy schedule. She uploads every single day.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, could not do that. Props to her, but I love her to death, and I don't recommend that one because a lot of people don't like Sims content. But if you do like the Sims content, or you want something chaotic, she's awesome. She also streams every day on Twitch, and she'll stream for hours at a time. So
what's her name?
Super cool. Little Simsy, or it's Lil and then Simsie. She just, like, kind of, because she also does this thing, and I think a lot of Sims people do it, where The Sims is limited on what it can do, and so she'll be like, yeah, they're gonna go write a book, but really what they're writing is a runaway letter, and then they're gonna leave their family. And it's like, yeah, that makes sense to me, what are you talking about? But it's like, you don't have an option to do that in the game, so you get creative. You do what you need to do. So.
Interesting. My roommate tried to get me to play Sims one time, like, when we were living together. Before... Like,
I know what you mean.
Yeah, before we were officially roommates, when I was couch surfing. And I just remember being so frustrated because my dog got a job, but I didn't in The Sims. And I was like, I don't know how that happened.
Yeah.
But then also somehow I felt I was in a love triangle. And sorry, Carmen just sent something. But I kind of want to get back into it because I just love listening to what people do in The Sims.
Oh yeah, she's awesome for that. And like, she's helped me create, I've created some crazy, like the story we're in right now, I'll give a quick little synopsis. It's a Sim who has a bunch of older siblings, but he was like an accident baby. Oops, my bad. He was genuine. Like, I do this thing where if my Sims are like, I want a baby, I'm like, okay, you get one shot. And of course they always get it for some reason. It's a whole thing. But now he has like 5 kids under the age of 5, on top of all his siblings are now dying because he was the youngest. But also I was like, oh, and they're Mormon. I added the Mormon thing on top. So I was like, oh, they have to have a ton of kids. It was a whole thing. But it's like silly things like that where I'll tell Hunter and he'll go, so how do you know that? And I'm like, oh, I just remember it. I just come up with it in my head. And then I'm like, yeah. And then his wife just started a book club because what do Mormon women do? They start book clubs while their kids are little. And then when they all grow up and are at school, then yeah, she can get a job, but she's a housewife now. And it's so funny. And like, I just downloaded a mod that gives like realistic birth. It's not really realistic, but you have more options in it. And he was like, why'd you do that? And I was like, because I got bored. Like, I'm on generation 5. I got bored of all the other births. I had to, step it up, do something different. So that's why I like Sims YouTubers, specifically this one, because she has the same energy of like, oh yeah, like I think one of her Sims right now is trying to marry the Grim Reaper. He also was a ghost child at one point and now is in a like full-grown human adult, but he just died again. So he's ghost round 2, but he's also trying to get with the Grim Reaper. That's the energy I need in a Sims channel,
Yeah, it sounds interesting.
You want a good sitcom? Any of her stuff.
Bet.
So good.
Okay, good. I'll definitely have to check these out. My next one, Sophia Nygaard. She is so funny. I've been watching her since like her BuzzFeed days, and then when she left, and then I started supporting her more than I supported BuzzFeed because obvi. And she posts a lot of like travel content, a lot of like exploratory content, just some really niche videos, but really cool videos too. Like she got big on YouTube for like mixing all of the lipsticks at Sephora together, or like all the bath bombs at Lush. Yes, the Franken lipstick, Franken bath bomb, Franken hand sanitizer, Franken cake. Yeah, her wedding cake, her. What else has she done? She's done so much. And then she's also like traveled everywhere. Like she's stayed at every hotel on the Vegas Strip. She's gone to like Iceland.
There's
she went to Tokyo.
I was like in like Japan or
Korea,
something.
yeah.
There's the wine bath and the cheese.
Yeah, she's been to Asia a bunch. And the vending machine where she goes and finds a soup vending machine. Just a lot of cool, like, it's very casual, but it's also stuff I could not do.
Oh, 100%.
Except maybe go to like a lost luggage store.
Oh yeah.
Like,
you could do that.
Yeah.
We could do that for a pod.
No, truly. What else? She's just done so many cool videos and interacts with so many different people. And I don't know. It's just very like chill content to watch. Yeah. Her husband is also hilarious, Tyler Williams.
I love Tyler.
He's so good.
He's
so good for her too.
100%. But I love Tyler. My next one is Smosh. I've watched, like I said, I've watched Smosh for 13 years. It'd be silly if I didn't put them on this list. And hey, if you want a cast member, I'm really funny. I make people laugh all the time. So I will audition for you, please. Anyways, that's all I'm gonna say for that because I got stuff later.
Yep.
My last YouTuber, they're called the Sidemen. They're a group of 7 guys from England who all started on GTA. And they all kind of just met each other. They were all doing YouTube separately. And then they all kind of met each other. And in GTA 5, you can make, like, clans. So you can all be part of the same group. And they made one, and it was called the Wide Men as, like, a joke. I don't quite know the story behind it. But they kind of became big because it's very boy humor. It's a lot of boy humor. But then they started making bigger content. They started doing bigger videos. And they're one of the only groups, I think, out there that has more than like 4 people that has not changed. It's been the same 7 guys since the beginning, and now they're making like big money moves where they have like a bunch of merch. They have a restaurant called Sides in England.
Love.
They have their own, like how the Try Guys have Second Try. They have Side Plus, which is like you pay, I think it's like $10 a month, and you get a whole bunch of extra content. Their videos all average 2.5 hours long, just about their like movies. They produce them like movies. They have Sidemen Sundays. They have a bunch of other channels. They do Among Us videos. Like, you want to talk about Among Us in the background. They're the Among Us I put in the background. But they collab with a bunch of different YouTubers. Do you know KSI?
Mm-hmm.
He's in that.
Oh.
That's his group.
Oh.
Well, it's not his group, but he's in that group.
Okay.
So it's KSI, or JJ, Mini Mentor, his name's Simon, Josh Lurka, Toby, or Tobe Jizzle, Vic Star, Vic, Rodashaw, Harry, and then Bazinga, who is Ethan. And it's just the 7 of them. They make content. They do really cool videos. Like, they do, my favorite series they do is, it's called like Abandoned. So they'll be put in cars that are blacked out and they'll have blindfolds on, and then they get dropped somewhere. They can't use their phones. All they have is a map, and they have like $200. And then they have a list of rules and a list of challenges, and you have to complete them. Each challenge you complete, you get more money.
Wow.
It's super awesome content. Or they do like they'll do like 100-pound hotel or 100-pound vacation versus a 100,000-pound vacation, and they don't know what team they're on. So it'll be like a whole random thing. It's really awesome. But I've been watching them since they started. I remember finding them, and I was like, "Ooh, they're all really cute." And then I just kept watching them for years and years on. They
Love
do
that.
calorie challenges too, which I think you would find interesting.
I wrote their name down because
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm already enticed.
I love the Sidemen. But yeah, now you can get in the podcasts.
Bet. Okay. I'm trying to think. I have a lot of podcasts. One, I guess I'll recommend. I don't really watch it anymore, but it had such a big impact on my life. Was Ladies in Tangents.
Ooh.
These are 2 women from Ohio. Sierra and Jerry are their names. They talk a lot about so many different things, and kind of what I wanted this podcast to be like was we literally just talk about our thoughts, our feelings, what's going on in life, and research things if we have to. But they did a couple episodes on like releasing emotional trauma and just like almost trauma dumping.
Yeah.
And like I applaud them for their vulnerability. But Sierra was in an abusive relationship. This is public information. This is why I'm sharing this. But she was in an abusive relationship, and it took her way too long to get out. And it's heartbreaking to hear. But at the same time, when I was listening to these, I was in my abusive relationship, and it was just like, wow, I need to get out. And so just hearing it from, like, hearing Sierra tell these stories, and then I'm like, wow, I'm living through this, and I'm thinking in my mind, this is what I would be saying to Sierra. And then I'm like, wait, I should be saying these things to myself. And so eventually, like, they'll never know. Like, I DM'd them being like, hey, you guys helped me out of a really toxic situation. And they probably will never see it. They'll probably never hear this. But I am very appreciative of what they bring into this world, and also them being in a very red state. And they're very open and willing to accommodate for like minority groups, like LGBTQIA plus, people of color. And I think that's what we need in the world is like, these are 2 white women, but they are using their platform to educate others about the struggles other people are facing, what's wrong in the world, what's right in the world. They're unbelievably funny. They just did a live show, and I wasn't a huge fan of them at the time, but they came to Phoenix, and I was like, I should have just bought the ticket.
Oh, yeah.
I should have just gone because, and I don't know. They're just super cool. I love them. Ladies in Tangents. Haven't watched them in a bit just because I've been consuming so much media from the Try Guys. Highly recommend if you want to kind of like, it's like comedy, psychology, education, personal experiences. Very broad spectrum.
Yeah.
Highly recommend.
My first one is You Can Sit With Us.
Oh my gosh!
Because I don't watch The Tripod, but I watch every episode of You Can Sit With Us. And it's not that I don't like The Tripod, but there's something about You Can Sit With Us that I'm like, yeah, I vibe with this a lot more. I don't know if it's their personalities. Not saying I don't love Keith, Zach, and Miles.
Yeah.
But I think I'm a little bit more of a fan of Becky, Maggie, and Matt. I'm a little bit more of that. But also, it's just the vibe of it feels like I'm just sitting and listening to like a high school lunch conversation. And I know that's the vibe that they wanted, but I definitely feel that. And it's just, I feel like I learn a lot more than what I do from the tripod, especially right now, because they're kind of having, like, a bunch of the behind-the-scenes people on certain shows come in and talk about the shows, which is awesome. And they talked a lot about this new season of Without a Recipe, and they're having all the new second try members come on and talk about it, too, which I'm like, this is the stuff I like. This is what I like. Even when they're just, like, shooting the shit, I'm like, they're funny, and I love Becky. I love Becky so much. She's who I want to be in life. Like, I strive every day to be Becky, 100%.
Becky Habersberger.
Yep, I strive every day to be. We're on first name basis, you know.
No,
Becky
true.
and I, so
Rebecca.
That was gross. Becky, that wasn't me. I would never say that to you.
No. Very similarly, I've only ever seen 2 episodes of You Can Sit With Us, and I'm like, I like them. I don't quite vibe, but I think I just need to watch more videos.
I think it's fun, though, that we have a podcast and we're on opposite sides. Where I know you
truly.
vibe with the tripod.
Yes, I was just about to talk about the tripod.
Like, I don't really vibe with them, but You Can Sit With Us? That's my bread and butter right there.
I'm the opposite. I love the tripod. I think it's just because I love turning my brain off and, like, laughing. And it's just so random and not educational, which is like what I need at the end of the day. And like I don't want to say grew up, but I've been watching Eat the Menu for a while. So I kind of am used to like eating with Keith. Like I turn that show on to like eat breakfast or like relax after I'm working or something like that. But the tripod I love just because of their like adventures and how silly and goofy they can be. I think I definitely want to start watching more of You Can Sit With Us just because I do love Maggie.
Maggie's I love them. I love them all.
Yes.
I love them all, and I think they all work. I think that's also why I like them, is because I feel like Keith, Zach, and Miles have very similar personalities.
Yes.
Which is great. But I love You Can Sit With Us because Maggie is so different from Matt and Becky.
Yes.
Becky is so different from the two of them.
Yep.
And Matt is a whole different ballpark.
Yep.
And that's why I love them, because they all come together and they're so different, but ooh, they vibe.
Truly. And I think it's like with the tripod, Rainy, having her as the only female energy, it's like I can kind of relate to that because I work in 2 very male-dominated fields. And also I grew up with 2 brothers. So like I can very much, even though this is a work setting, I can still like place myself in her shoes. I also think she's just hilarious with the pre-pros she comes up with. And I'm like, Rainy,
our inspiration for this pod.
Truly. Like you want to be Becky, I want to be Rainy when I grow up.
That could work.
Right?
You could be Rainy and I'll be Becky. Halloween costume.
But then also Miles is just so unashamedly, unashamedly.
I don't know what you're trying to say.
Unapologetically funny.
Oh,
that's what I was trying to say. I was like, I knew it's some word like that. That's pretty much all I have for them. Not much.
Like how different we are, because you're like, yeah, I like turn your brain off humor, and I'm like, no, make me think, make me really work my brain, because I feel like I don't know, I'm an intellectual. I'm kidding. I feel like in my major, I love my major, and I love what I'm doing or trying to do with it, but there's not a lot of brain power once you get past the initial hump of learning. You don't really have to use the brain too much. Sometimes it just flows, and I think I need to use my brain. I was a math kid growing up. I was a math and science. I needed to use my brain all the time.
I was gonna say, I think I'm the exact opposite because my major is so demanding of my brain and my thinking and critical thinking skills that like when I'm home, like sure I don't mind listening to somebody talk about like psychology or like emotional intelligence, something like that. But I'm like, at the end of the day, I just want to like have a special little gummy and just turn my brain off and relax. And in these last few episodes, I know I talk about taking a gummy, and I've started to very openly talk about consumption of a certain plant. Mom, now you know. Because before I would just take like CBD, but now I'm like, you know what? I don't like alcohol as much, but I still want that like altered state.
Yeah.
And so I'm like,
my last podcast moves into our next segment, Smosh Mouth. It's the Smosh podcast.
I love that.
The Smoshcast. They call it Smosh Mouth. It is some funny ass. Anyways, that's all I'm going to say about that, so I can move into Smosh lore. Are you ready? Ready for this little...
I'm so
ready for Smosh 101?
Because I know that from the Mythical side of things, Mythical essentially bought them. And then Anthony Padilla stepped away. Ian, I don't know if was still involved or if he stepped away too. But then after a while, Mythical resold Smosh back to Anthony and Ian. And they had a whole, like, Anthony Padilla had a whole discussion with Rhett and Link about this. And Rhett and Link basically described it as like, no, we were babysitting it. Like, it was never ours. We were just holding on to it because we always knew we were going to give it back to you guys, which I think is very, very sweet and something you don't really see a lot in the internet industry. Because most people are like, once it's mine, it's mine. But
Papa Rhett and Papa Link aren't like that.
No.
As a Smosh kid, I can say that. Papa Rhett and Papa Link, they're not like that.
But I know they're like try not to laugh videos when they have like the water in their mouths. I've seen clips of that. And the bartending with Garrett. I've seen clips of that. And then I've watched some of Anthony Padilla's interviews, which aren't like directly on the Smosh channel. They're on his own.
They are kind of now, though. We'll get into that.
Yeah, but that's the extent of my knowledge on Smosh.
I've said it multiple times, but the reason why I'm certified to talk about this is because I have been a Smosh fan for 13 years of my life. 13 out of the 19 years it's been a channel.
That's crazy.
I know. I have consistently watched them. The only other channel that I've talked about today that has tied with that is The Siphon. I watched them at about the same time. It was very boy humor, and I loved boy humor when I was a child, and so now it's just kind of grown with me, and I've grown with it. The name Smosh comes from Anthony's friend from when he was in high school who mispronounced Mosh Pit as Smosh Pit, and they teased him about it. And also, Smosh Pit's one of their channels now.
Oh.
It's their second channel. It's called Smosh Pit. It's really funny. But that's kind of where the name came from. It started as a, just a, not YouTube, it started just as a website. It's because YouTube wasn't around at the time of Smosh's conception.
Yeah, that's how Rhett and Link was too. Like they had rhettandlink.com.
Yeah, it was Smosh.com and it was just Anthony. Anthony kind of was the pioneer of that, and he would just post funny, silly videos of just him, and then he became friends with Ian, and then they were like, oh, you're funny, I'm funny, let's start doing this. So we get into the beginnings and new Succession era, which was from 2005 to 2011. I did so much research for this.
On your little Canva doc, I love.
Like she's extensive. We go through eras.
Okay.
So you start with Ian and Anthony making silly, funny videos in high school. It's just them in, I think it's Ian's bedroom, and they're just recording on a webcam and on a camera, and then they're editing, and I don't remember the editing software, but whatever was popular for 2005.
iMovie.
Yeah, that's all right. And they basically uploaded it to Smosh.com, later uploaded it to YouTube when YouTube became a thing, when people were just kind of uploading random stuff to see, kind of to feel out what YouTube was.
Yeah, in the early 2000s.
Yeah, and they got super popular because they lip synced to the Pokemon theme on November 18th, 2005. So we just passed the anniversary of it.
Wow.
They lip synced, they did a whole music video to the Pokemon theme where they lip sync it.
That's so funny.
Later in this, I believe in the same era, they actually redid it because it got copywritten striked and taken off the channel, even though it had reached like millions of views.
Oh my god.
For YouTube at that time was insane, but it had reached a lot of views.
Yeah.
And so it got taken down, and then they later did it, and they changed the lyrics, and they kind of bashed on Nintendo, which is kind of awesome, and I stand by them for that.
Love.
And they started doing, at the later half of this era, they did a lot of sketch comedy. That's kind of their niche. If you look at the Smosh itself channel, it's all sketch comedy. Because that's kind of what they grew up doing, it's what they started as, it's what they will always continue to be. And then, in 2011, we move into the Defy Media era. But this is from 2011 to 2018. This is about when I started watching, was in the Defy era. This is when they started having other cast members on other channels. So they had Smosh Games, Smosh Second Channel, which was later changed to Smosh Pit. And then they had Smosh Spanish. Yep, they had a Spanish channel that would, all their videos, they would translate it to Spanish for that video. And it was all like under the Defy company. There was a company who reached out to them and was like, hey, we have lots of money. We want to give you more money to make more videos. Come work for us. Like, let us buy your channel. And they were like, okay, sure. Because what are you going to do when a company's telling you, hey, I have money? Like, you say yes. And so Defy had a thing where they were like, you have to start having other channels. You have to branch out. So they had Smosh Games, which they hired 6 new cast members for because Ian and Anthony weren't going to be able to do that plus sketch comedy, plus run their section of the company. So they hired Mari Takahashi. I don't know their real names. I just know their YouTube names. Man, we're just going to say YouTube names. Lasercorn, Jovenshire, Sohinki, Flitz, and Wes. And they hired them to kind of be the game section, and they were very separate from Ian and Anthony. They still did videos together, but it was like a TV show, where it's like Smosh was the main show, and then you had a spin-off with Smosh Games. And then you had Smosh Crew, who came on, which this was Keith, Noah, Shane, Courtney, and Olivia. They were also known as the Smosh Kids, because they were all within the ages of like 17, because I think Noah was 17, up to the age of like 25.
Oh my god.
So they were all way younger than everyone else, and they were like the second spin-off channel. And they were mainly on Pit, then there was Games, and then there was second channel. Spanish was its own thing. That later got dropped. They don't do that anymore.
Yeah.
But Defy basically separated it into 3 segments that sometimes had crossovers, but it's like the Arrowverse. I don't know if you watch the DC shows. Kind of.
I'm familiar with them.
Basically, all DC shows take place in the same universe. That's kind of how the Smosh channels work, where it was all in the same universe, and sometimes they would cross over, but very rarely was it like Ian and Anthony appeared in a Smosh Kids video, versus the Smosh Kids and Smosh Games were always in each other's videos. That's kind of how that functioned. They also created another thing called Smosh Games, or Smosh Summer Games, and Smosh Winter Games, like the Olympics. And so it was like they would divide them into 2 teams, and then that would be like the teams for the summer, and then it would be weekly videos throughout the summer of like challenges, they'd win points, it was a whole thing. And then after, I think they did a bunch of those, and there was like, with 2 left of their planned how many they were going to do, Anthony leaves Smosh. This happened on June 14th, 2018. I remember sobbing. I thought, because I had also just come off of One Direction breaking up.
Yeah.
So having
Rough
Anthony
era.
leave, I was, let me tell you, like, how old was I? 16-year-old me it was a hard time for me.
In 2014?
No, 2018.
Oh, I thought you said 2014.
2018.
I was like, got you, okay, yes.
After he leaves, about a month after, Defy, that company that said, hey, we have a lot of money, they lied. They had no money, and they shut down completely, leaving Smosh without a home. Smosh had to basically say, hey, we can't be a channel anymore. Sorry, guys. Like, sorry to all of our fans. We're shutting down. At this time, lots of cast members jumped ship at Smosh, which right on them. Yeah. All of the Smosh Games people left and are doing their own thing. Awesome. Essentially, she jumped ship too. A lot of them jumped ship. Some of them still stay with the company, which, like, you know, you pick what you want. Then we jump into the mythical era that you mentioned, and this lasted from 2019 to 2013. I literally wrote Daddy Rhett and Daddy Link.
2019 to 2013?
2023. I literally wrote Daddy Rhett and Daddy Link stepped up and saved Smosh.
Yeah, they really did.
Because that's how they were referred through that whole era, it was Daddy Rhett and Daddy Link. Or Papa Rhett and Papa Link.
I love that.
Basically, they bought it, but said, hey, Ian, it's still your baby. You still control. We just paid the money. We pay the bills. Yeah. So control's still given to Ian. We got a bunch of new shows. We also got a bunch of, like, halftime cast members. Like Josh. That's how I learned about Mythical Step Josh. And Trevor.
Yeah, Trevor's now a part of their team, too.
He's literally a split kid now. But that's how they were on a lot of Smosh videos and vice versa. Smosh was in a lot of their videos. It was very much like step kids get brought in and are like, oh, we all get to, like, hang out and all that. And then there was the start of, I put 4.5 new cast members because you had Chance, Angela, Arasha, Amanda, and then Trevor was 0.5 because he's split.
True.
He's not on, he's not just on one channel. He's on both.
Yeah.
That's basically all that happened. We had a bunch of new shows. Like, you were talking about Garrett and the bartending thing. Yeah. That was a show called Eat It or Yeet It.
Yes.
Love Eat It or Yeet It. And then we move into the era we're currently in, which is the We Bought Smosh era. Ian and Anthony first talk in cahoots, being like, Anthony basically says, hey, I want to talk to Rhett and Link, and I want us to own Smosh again. And Ian goes, sure. And then they go to Rhett and Link, and they're like, hey, we want this. And they went, okay, like, we're never gonna not tell you. Like, I think they didn't buy it back for much. It was a very little amount. Yeah. But they were just like, yeah, like, have it.
Yeah, it's yours.
It's your baby. Yours. Like, you know, we were just, you know, it's like CPS. They just were fostering the baby.
Yeah.
It made sense in my head. And then this is the first time in a while Smosh has not had a parent company. It's just that Ian and Anthony kind of leading the charge. I think Mythical still has a little bit of like a stake in it, but they're not as big of a parent company as they were. Same thing with Defy. This is kind of going back. A lot of people are saying it's like old Smosh again, like that first era, because it's like they have so much more freedom and they can make whatever shows they want. Everything is looking up. They have a show called Bit City, which is like SNL. Oh. It's so good. Like, I think you'd find it really funny. Bit City is really, really funny, but it's like very SNL, very late night coded. They do a lot. They did like a One Direction like reunion where they had different people dress up.
But let's read these like the Bible.
I basically picked some of the cast members that I'm pretty sure you don't know who they are, and I want you to just tell me everything about them, and I'll confirm what's right and what's wrong. So I picked some of my favorite pictures of them for this purpose. Okay. This is cast member number 1.
Okay. So
just read them. What's the vibes? What do you think their name is? That's a good starting place.
This is Arnold.
What about Arnold? Tell me about Arnold.
Arnold really wanted to get on Broadway, but like he's kind of pitchy and his shoes never stay tied, so he didn't make any of the auditions.
Ooh, okay. Tell me more about Arnold. What about Arnold?
Hopeless Romantic, bi-curious, but in denial.
Okay.
He's really cute. He uses Old Spice pomade though, which is like kind of ick. He doesn't really have a good hair routine for his curls, but his curls still stay good. His elbows always ashy. That's the thing. And he definitely did not drink hose water as a child and demanded his bananas be cut up into wheels. What else do you want to know?
That is good. So this is Chance. He's gay.
Okay, so I was right with the bi-curious.
But he's not in denial. He's very open.
Okay.
He doesn't really sing that much. He's adopted.
Twins!
Yeah. Yeah, he's really, really funny. I don't know about the bananas part. Can't confirm or deny. But I love that. But yeah, this is Chance.
Hi, Chance.
He's really funny.
Okay.
Next one.
Oh, she looks like Joey King.
Okay.
I'm gonna guess her name is Elizabeth.
Okay.
She's, once again, failed actress turned Smosh.
Okay.
Moved to LA in hopes of big dreams and big goals. Not successful. But she's successful with Smosh. And I think she's just such a pick-me. Like, look at this picture. You're telling me she's not trying to get so much attention right now and it's not working? Like, she has an intention, but it's cringy as fuck. She's also probably an only child, was spoiled. Am I being mean?
No.
Okay.
That's the point of this. I want you to read them.
Okay. She's edgy and chic, but loves a good slice of New York pizza.
Okay.
Once again, hopeless romantic.
Okay.
Will give her partner, like, a bouquet of roses flown in by doves.
Okay.
Will go above and beyond for you. I also feel like she's such a loyal friend. But she vomits when she takes shots of Jose Cuervo.
This is Angela.
I was close! Starting with the vowels.
Do you know Star Kid? Star Kid is a actually really popular and really successful musical theater company in California. I think it's in California. I think they're very California based. If you ever know the Very Harry Potter musical,
Yeah.
they do a lot of parody productions. She's like one of their most popular actresses.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
They did. I don't really want to do the work today.
Yeah. She's like really popular with them. She's really well known in that field.
So bad. I'm so sorry.
Really, she's part of an improv troupe as well, so she does a lot of improv. I don't remember anything else you said, but this is not an attention-seeking picture. That's actually a try not to laugh.
I recognize the background. But I was like, it's definitely not working, and it's just cringy. But
that's kind of her shtick, is that it's supposed to be cringy, and people cringe so much they laugh, and I love her for that.
Got you. So it's kind of right.
Yeah. Next.
Ooh, this is.
I'm waiting for you to get one of these on the nose.
We'll see. Use my psychic abilities. Yeah. This is like, what's her name? I'm getting either Adina or Priscilla.
Okay.
So I think I'm going to go with Priscilla, but she goes by, like, Cece
Ooh.
or something for
okay,
short,
yeah,
you know?
Yeah.
She's really spunky, really, like, she's like, I am, because I can tell she's, like, some sort of brown. She must be Hispanic or something. Right?
Do I know? I think I know.
Okay. It looks like she's Hispanic. But I don't know the character's name. But in West Side Story, she's like, my mom is Dominican, Cuban.
That's not West Side Story. That's In the Heights.
Oh my god, I'm so sorry. I was like, same cast.
It's okay. No, not at all, actually. But I know who you mean. Yeah.
Well, didn't Lin-Manuel direct West Side Story too?
That was Steven Spielberg.
No, they're both in old time New York, and I'm just getting them confused.
One of them is new time New York, but yeah, like current time New York, but yeah.
I just need a shovel to
New York.
keep digging.
New York.
They're both in New York. That's why I get
there
confused.
there
You know. But she reminds me of that woman. I don't know her name. I think it's Claudia or something.
I think so too.
But just that like fun life of the party. She has a great laugh. She probably drinks whiskey, honestly. I'm gonna guess.
Okay.
I'm gonna guess like she regrets the bangs and is open about it. Because I regret them for her. I don't know. I can't really think of anything to read
That's
her
fine.
on.
I'll take it. Okay. I just wanted you to like get the
Okay,
vibes, you know?
Okay.
This is Amanda. Yeah, this is Amanda. She does openly regret the bangs. I think her family's from like Lebanon. I think that's kind of like Middle East. I think.
Middle East.
I could be wrong, but I think it's somewhere in that realm.
Okay.
She's chronically offline. That's like her whole thing. Is she only looks at People magazine? Oftentimes, you remind me of her in the best way possible.
Because I'm chronically offline.
There's just sometimes where I'm like, hey, have you seen this thing? And you go, no. And I'm like, how have you, like Star Kid? Like, how have you not seen Star Kid? Like, Star Kid is right up your alley. So
yeah, I've probably seen more.
Oh, yeah. And she's one of the hosts of the Smash Mouth. And I love her to death.
See, very outgoing.
Hunter also says that sometimes I act like her, and I take offense to it. Not in a bad, like, not in like a, oh my god, how could you say that? But there's times where I'm like, I'm not chronically offline. Me? I live on the internet. I'm worried you're gonna know these next three.
Okay.
So if you do, fake it? I don't know.
Okay. She's definitely a personality hire.
Wait till I tell you, man.
Oh, no.
Do you have a name?
Oh, she looks like Brittany from Glee, so I'm just gonna call her Brittany. Now that you said that, I'm like, wait a minute, she can't
just go
be.
with it. I just thought it was funny, and I think when I tell you a fact, like a specific fact about her, you'll go, oh.
Okay.
So.
Well, I think she's definitely a personality hire, but only in the editing realm.
Ooh.
Like, she is such a strong editor
and
comes up with ways that people normally don't think and that aren't conventional ways to edit.
Yeah.
But, and then she thinks she's the funniest person alive.
Okay.
Others may not agree, but her cat agrees.
Okay.
Yeah, she's a cat. She probably hates the dentist, honestly.
Okay.
But she has really good teeth, so she doesn't need to worry about it. I'm also gonna assume she, like, jokes about doing OnlyFans, but, like, is seriously considering it.
Okay.
Same with selling feet pics, too.
Yeah.
You know?
For sure.
Just because you need side hustles. And I'm also going to say she does not participate in the try not to laugh because she doesn't want to spit water and she doesn't want to get spat on. She's more of a swallower.
Okay. This is Courtney.
Oh, so close with Brittany.
You were very close. You were very close on a lot of things.
Okay.
The only thing is when you said personality hire, I was like, okay, wait till I tell you about their pronouns.
Oh.
See, I got the O. They use all pronouns, so that's why I was like, I don't know if you can be a personality hire and you do that. Also, personality, I don't know. I don't associate the two. That's why I was like, I don't know.
That's fair.
You know.
Damn.
She does have a cat. She has 2 cats.
Oh, see?
She has 2 cats.
I almost said 2 cats.
She does participate in the Try Not to Laugh, and she actually has one of the most popular characters from them, Gerald Butts, who has a really big ass and kind of looks like a really old James Bond, and he goes, I'm on my way. And that's like the whole shtick. It's really stupid. But it's one of the most popular Try Not to Laugh characters.
I knew she made people, like, I feel like she makes herself laugh.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, that's what I was
And
going
rather
with
than
that.
joking about, like, OnlyFans and stuff, has a lot of boy humor, so it's a lot of, like, burp jokes, fart jokes, stuff like that. A lot of memes. Next.
Dang. Oh, I think I've seen this guy. I don't know his name or anything about
That's
him,
okay.
but I've definitely seen him with the purple hair.
Mm-hmm.
This is Ethan.
Okay.
Actually, or Damien.
Okay. Stop.
One of the
Give away
two.
the answers.
Ethan or Damien.
Okay.
He is Anthony's work husband. Like,
Ooh.
they literally have matching tattoos.
They do.
I use that term loosely.
They're pretty
but-
matching.
yeah.
These don't go everywhere, they just go on the arm.
On his upper arm.
Yeah.
But I think they're work husbands. Anyways, this man loves D&D. Loves Harry Potter.
Mm-hmm.
Thinks he's a wizard. On his resume, he put part-time wizard.
Okay.
Definitely on the gaydar. I don't know where, but my radar is going off. I think his comedian inspiration is like Alec Baldwin.
Oh, okay.
Like, not conventionally funny.
Like straight humor.
Yes.
Yeah.
But like funny to some.
And not straight like sexual orientation.
just
like
direct.
it's not like what is it? It's not like monotone humor, it's just to the point.
Yeah.
It's funny because it's there.
Yeah. And I think he does improv on the side. Probably lived in New York to like get a start and then moved to LA to get a new start.
Okay.
Probably his family in like Santa Fe or something
Okay.
like that. But he has a really good laugh and snorts when he laughs too hard.
Okay. This is Damien.
No way! Racist!
This is Damien.
Sorry, I didn't mean to scream.
Yeah, this is Damien. As far as I know, he's straight.
Okay. That hair tells me otherwise.
He has, what is it? He's very open about being neurodivergent. He's very much like, this is who I am, and I'm going to advocate for it. And a lot of people hate on him for that because he's a white straight male who's advocating for other minorities. And it's like, no, he's using his platform for good.
Yeah.
I can't really confirm a lot of stuff, but he's very nerdy. You were right in that regard. I don't think it's more anime nerd than Harry Potter nerd. But not like cringy weeb. It's just like he likes anime, and he's gonna be open about the fact that he likes anime.
Yeah.
Work husband, not Anthony. He does have a work husband, but it is not Anthony. And he used to be on, I don't know if you ever watched So Random as a kid. He was on So Random.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
He was a cast member on I think it was 4 seasons.
Yeah, something like that.
No, it's like Sunny with a Chance is 3 seasons. Season 4 is So Random, but he was on that season. So he's my favorite cast member. Yes. I don't know if you can tell, but he's my favorite cast member.
Love. I can't believe I got his name right.
I know. When you said that, I had to like, I'm happy my face was here because I literally went like that.
I was like,
oh
it's either
gosh.
Ethan or Damien, but I think that's because he looks like Ethan. Markiplier's Ethan.
Yeah.
That's what I was gonna say.
Okay, we have one more.
Okay. Ian. Right?
Do you want me to tell you? No. This is not Ian Hecox.
Oh my god, this is who I picture with Ian. No.
It's not Anthony either.
I know it's not Anthony. Oh, I've seen him in videos. He's in a lot of videos. He's very funny.
Oh, wait, I had one more thing about when you talked about the laugh. He has a walrus laugh. That's what I call it. He sounds like a walrus in the sweetest way possible.
Shoot. I know this guy. His name's like Liam. Niall.
Why are you naming One Direction members?
No. Not Trevor. Finn. Ben.
I'm just waiting for you to pick one.
One of those that I said.
Finn or Ben. Or Liam. Or Niall. Not Trevor, though.
No, not Ian. He is, once again, unapologetically funny. And he is a short king, standing in at 5'2". He obviously loves to read. He loves smut, but he only reads smut so that way he knows what to talk to his girlfriend about.
I love that. That's
right?
the best read you've given this whole time.
Like, he has a girlfriend. They're really cute. But he doesn't know anything, and he just wants to participate in her interests.
Okay.
So he reads her smut. He really likes soup.
Okay.
as well, like baked potato, cheddar broccoli,
yeah.
loves cheese. And I'm gonna assume he auditioned for the role of like Thor, but then obviously didn't get it. And then he dreams of being an SNL host.
Okay. This is Shane.
I knew it was a basic name.
This is Shane.
Or not basic, common.
He was also on So Random. He is unapologetic funny. I can't confirm a lot of that. He was obsessed with bananas at one point. That was like his shtick was bananas. His other shtick is he screams a lot. He is a short king. He's not 5'2". He is 5'7", which is or 5'6", which is like shorter for men.
Yeah,
6',
that's
5'7",
2
shorter for
inches
men.
shorter than me.
So he is short. He does have a wife, not girlfriend, who also works at Smosh. This is his wife. Courtney is his wife.
Oh
They
my
just released their
gosh!
marriage on April 1st, 2024. They didn't tell anyone they were dating at all. No one knew. They were shipped a lot, but they got married the day before. And then they were like, oh, April 1st is tomorrow. Let's release it then. Because everyone for months thought it was a joke until they went on Smosh Mouth and were like, no, we're actually married. Like, we actually got married.
I love.
And work husband is Damien. They actually met on So Random and then moved to Smosh. Well, Shane moved to Smosh first, and then he moved to Smosh after, or Damien moved to Smosh after. And he didn't audition for Thor. He did audition for Captain America.
Whoa, so I was right in the Marvel universe. That's crazy.
But yeah, those were the reads
Wow.
of my favorite Smosh members.
I hope I wasn't too disrespectful.
No, but I thought some of them were really funny. Obsessions! What's your obsession?
My obsession is bowling for soup.
That's a good one.
I don't know why, but this week and like last week too, I kind of rediscovered Bowling for Soup and Divorced Dad Rock.
Yeah.
Like I made a playlist called Sediment. And it's a pun on like rocks.
Oh yeah.
And so it was like in Reels they were using the 1985 song Bruce Springsteen, Madonna, did it from Nirvana. That song. And I was like, oh, I forgot how good the song is. And then I was like, oh my God, they wrote Stacy's Mom. And I listened to that. And then I came into an athletics meeting, excuse you, Sammy, and was like, guys, I have Stacy's Mom stuck in my head. What do I do?
Yeah.
And then said person who called me pretty that same night, I'm going to cut this out, but he was in the back of my car. And I had the music up when we were driving to the event. He's like, oh my God, Stacy's mom. I just hear that from the back seat. I was like, but yeah, I've been just obsessed with Bowling for Soup lately. Anyways, what's yours?
I'll stay in the same music realm. Coldplay. I used to love Coldplay as a kid. Shout out to my tata for introducing. Anyways, Coldplay. My tata introduced me to it, took me to a concert. I fell out of love with them because I was just like, they're not the vibe. I want pop punk music because I was in my emo phase. But I was listening to it and Coldplay came on and I was like, this is like good. Like, ooh, it's hit my feels. Also, Dancing with the Stars also got me back onto it because for those Dancing with the Stars fans, Steven and Riley, two of the people on there, Steven is one of the pommel horse guys from the Olympics who do the whoosh, you know?
Yeah.
You know what I meant. And their song was Viva La Vida by Coldplay, and it was so beautifully done that kind of kicked it off. And then reading fan listening to their music again, I was like, ooh, Coldplay. So I've been listening to a lot of Coldplay.
Heck yeah. And advice, I thought of a segment.
Go for it.
Advice for the
I
internet.
didn't think of anything. For the internet?
Or like YouTube specifically. And
Advice for YouTube.
here's what I have.
Go for it.
Is, you know how if you are a Rugby and you can't afford YouTube Premium ad-free and you have to watch those ads, do the surveys and allow cookies on any of your other web pages. Because if you allow cookies, you're going to allow the internet to know what you like and your preferences, and you're not going to get ads. Like, as soon as I started, I forgot who said that, but as soon as I started like allowing cookies and kind of like gave the internet my feedback, it very much tailors the ads to me. And instead of me like sitting through a random like chlamydia medication ad, I'm now sitting through like online degree program ads, which I'm like, oh, that's kind of helpful for me to know. Like I might continue my education. And there's been other things too, but that's my rec, is to allow cookies and do those surveys.
In a different realm, my rec is get an ad blocker. Get a free ad blocker, because
So real.
I just got one, and it works unless if you're watching multiple videos in a row, you do have to refresh your page. But 100% free, don't have to worry about it. And if you're watching YouTube on like a TV, when the ad pops up, if you click up and click the information button, you can click, there's usually a button that says like, I don't want to
Why?
see this ad.
Oh, yeah.
And so you click it and it literally just says, it'll be like inappropriate, something, and then it just says return a video. I just click that and it cancels out the ad.
Life
And I
hack.
don't have to watch it. And it's like, if there's several ads and you do it for one, it'll cancel out all of them. And it'll just take you right back to the video. So that's my advice for YouTube specific is doing that. It also works for like Twitch. I don't know. I watch Twitch sometimes. And if you have an ad blocker, it blocks the ad from it. But it still says you watch it. So the person still gets a view for it. And so they still are earning money from it. But you don't have to watch the ad. It just depends on the ad blocking you get. I don't have any good recommendations because I'm still figuring it out.
Got you.
When I have some, I'll return to the pod.
Please give us an update. But thank you all for listening to this very lengthy pod. Hope you enjoyed our thoughts and opinions.
That pasta la vista.